Buenos dias, y'all. RGT85 here. Hope everyone had a great weekend. But of course, we got some video game stuff to talk about. A couple stories I want to cover. If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, and share the video. Without any further ado, let's talk about what's going on in the world of video games. And Twitter's a little bit upset. Now, that's nothing new. Twitter's always mad about something, but Twitter is a little bit upset at Platinum Games right now. Now, Platinum Games is a very interesting company because a lot of us are looking forward to Bayonetta 3. Obviously, that's the big Nintendo Switch game that a lot of people have been wondering about right alongside of Metroid Prime 4. We've actually seen Bayonetta 3, though. We know that this game, it does exist. It is in production. It looks pretty damn good, in my opinion. So a lot of people are hopeful for more Bayonetta 3 information, but Platinum Games, of course, works on other stuff. They're doing that Babylon's Fall game and that doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. I don't understand what's going on with that game, but it doesn't look good. But Platinum Games, in a recent interview with Famitsu, said that they're working on something else, the dreaded term that it's becoming more and more prevalent in the gaming industry, and I don't like it. And that is, it looks like Platinum Games is getting into the live service game atmosphere. Over on Twitter, it's being said that the president of Platinum Games told Famitsu in a recent interview that future titles from the company will be different from previous works. They want to have games that are enjoyed and loved for a longer period of time, essentially meaning a games as a service, a live service game, something that we have been seeing more and more. Of course, PlayStation just revealed that they're going to work on 10 games as a service, live service games, and it's like I don't understand it. Even from a business perspective, because a lot of games as a service, a lot of live service games, they fall off a mountaintop. Like, you know, they got a little base at the start, you know, maybe it gets hot, but more than likely 9 times out of 10, you know, the games just completely flop. And then a year or two later, you have the servers going down for the game. And I just don't understand why so many companies want something like this. I guess they're hopeful that their live service game is one that survives and it's one that ends up becoming big, something like, I don't know, Destiny 2 or something like that. But 9 times out of 10, these games completely flop. And I feel like that has to be a big risk, especially for a company like Platinum Games, who needed my money to do their Wonderful 101 Kickstarter. Like, if you need money for stuff like that, like, why are you looking at games as a service when more than likely your game as a service isn't going to do all that well? At least with Sony, you know, they're doing 10 games. So if one of these games ends up being successful, then they're fine. You know, it's not a complete failure. But with Platinum, it's like, I don't know. I don't understand it. It just seems like a weird decision. It seems like something that, you know, what's going to end up happening is there's going to be so many games as a service, live service games, all that sort of stuff, that eventually people are just going to get burned out and they're not going to know what to play. So by more and more companies going towards this, you know, this mentality with their games and wanting to do their live service games, it's just going to become a wasteland of like dead games that nobody is playing because they decided to go this route. So I'll be very interested to see how this plays out. Obviously, Platinum Games is a good company, so, you know, there is a chance that the game itself could be good, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of these games. You know, there's so many people that are like, well, what's the problem with it? But it's like, if it's a games as a service or a live service game, I'm not buying that. And a lot of people aren't buying that. So you have to go the free-to-play route. And if you go to free-to-play route, but you're constantly doing a steady trickle, you know, like a backed up water faucet of content for the game, I'm going to get bored and I'm going to move on. I'm not one of those people where it's like 2 years down the road, it's like, oh, wow, this game's awesome now. I'm playing the new stuff in 2 years. I'm playing the other stuff in 2 years, not worried about a game that came out and had little to no content. So I don't know. What do you think about this, though? Is this a smart move for Platinum Games? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, we're going to talk very briefly about the Nintendo Switch Online service because I've said a lot of things about it before in the past. It's a topic that I constantly come back to, but I have to talk about this because this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. I obviously am not a huge fan of the service. I think it has problems, but I want to bring something to your guys' attention because it has been over 6 months, over 180 days, over a half a year since we got new NES and Super NES games on the Nintendo Switch Online. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous because people are paying for that $20 service. They're paying to play their games online, and the NES was one of the incentives for that. But you haven't given people a new game on the service in over 6 months. And let's be realistic, that last batch of games, they weren't quality games. They weren't good games. And it's, once again, I don't understand this. You have access to so many NES and Super NES games. I get it. You want people to upgrade to the $50 service. You want people to have that extra incentive with the Sega Genesis and the N64 stuff, but you still have people paying for the $20 service. So it's like, is that your business mentality with this? You're going to introduce a better service along the line and then just abandon the people who've been there since day one paying the $20? Why can't you add more games to it? And is it really a better deal for the people paying the $50? Because they also get access to the NES and the Super NES games. However, they've been left out in the cold with those games, and they've just been focusing on a few Genesis games that randomly come out. We don't know when they're going to come out, and one N64 game a month. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Why? None of it makes sense to me. There's so many awesome NES games. There's so many awesome Super Nintendo games that should be added to the service as an extra incentive to get people to sign up. You have over 100 million consoles out there, and I guarantee you only like a fourth of the people are signed up to the Switch Online service, maybe a little bit more. But let's just say a fourth for this video. I feel like you would make more money adding in more games and giving people more incentive. If you add in some of those classic RPGs from the Super Nintendo, some of those classic games from the NES, yeah, maybe they're licensed titles, but hey, you're Nintendo. You can afford to get the licenses for them. It's been over 180 days. Over 6 months since you've added something to this. If this was any other service, if this was the PlayStation service, the Xbox service, people would be complaining about it, but it just seems like it flies under the radar with the Nintendo Switch, and I don't think that's fair. So, you know, for those $20 people, those low tier online people, I feel for you. I feel for you because you're not getting all the bells and whistles you should be getting. And for the $50 people, it's like, what are we paying for? I don't get it, man. I just don't understand it. And finally, much like a YouTuber's basement, it's leak season when it comes to video games because, well, the information that we've been getting from companies has been a little bit dry, but there has been some fun stuff to talk about. But of course, people always want to know about the newest and the latest games coming to platforms. And it seems like a new collection has leaked for the Nintendo Switch, and boys and girls, I am very excited for this because you could check my damn track record. You could go back in videos. What is one game that I keep saying I want on my Nintendo Switch? It's something that I've been saying since the system was like introduced. I was like, this is a perfect fit for the system. It doesn't make sense that this isn't on there. It needs to be on there. Batman, 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 leader. No, but Batman is, of course, the Arkham games are absolutely amazing. I'm actually playing through Arkham Blackgate right now on my PlayStation Vita because I don't think I ever finished that game. But games like Batman, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, you know, even the Arkham Knight, I wasn't a huge fan of Arkham Knight, but Arkham Asylum and Arkham City are arguably two of the greatest games of all time. If you have to ask me a top 10 list, I'm putting Arkham City in that top 10 list. Like, that's how much I love that game. I've played it. I've beaten it on the Wii U. I've beaten it on the Xbox 360. Just a fantastic game. But it finally looks like Batman is bringing his ass over to the Nintendo Switch, according to a retailer over in France that leaked this. Now, the listing for the game has actually already been taken down. I'm sure Nintendo maybe had to say something about that, but this is the same website that actually leaked Witcher 3 coming to the Nintendo Switch, so they have a pretty good track record. Now, according to this listing, the Batman Arkham Collection is indeed coming to the Nintendo Switch. It does not specify which games it's going to be. More than likely, I feel it's going to be Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, because those are the three games that would make the most sense in this compilation. Obviously, there's going to be some downloads with this. Obviously, it's going to be interesting to see how Arkham Knight transfers over to the Nintendo Switch. But if they do a physical version of this game, I do hope that City is on the cartridge. I know people will want Asylum on the cartridge. I want City on the cartridge because City kicks ass. Now, there's always the question about, you know, the pricing of this game. According to this listing, it was like a full retail release price, which is ridiculous because right now you could go over and buy like the whole collection for like $9 on every other platform. But still, I do think there is a market for it. Honestly, I would like just like a nice physical edition of the game that came with like extra goodies. Like, that would give me a reason to buy it at a premium price, but I'm gonna buy it anyways because I want to play Batman Arkham City while I take a shit. Like, that just seems to me like peak life. Like, how could life get any better than playing this awesome game? Now, of course, the listing of this game does sort of show that there is stuff happening. So a lot of people are like, well, does this mean anything about a Nintendo Direct? Now, I don't have any inside information when it comes to a Nintendo Direct or anything like that, but I would not be surprised if a Nintendo Direct happens this week. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen. That's really just me kind of leading you along, but I really feel like a Nintendo Direct is going to happen this week. I feel like this game will be a part of that Nintendo Direct just from the timeline of things, of how Nintendo handles their Directs in the month of February. It makes sense for it to happen this week. They obviously just had the financial call last week, so spirits are high with the company, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Of course, you have Kirby coming out. You got to wonder what the summer game is going to be. I think that game is going to be Splatoon 3. Like I talked about in my Zelda release date video, I think Splatoon 3 is going to be the summer game. But yes, I think there's going to be a Direct this week, and I definitely am looking forward to learning more about Batman because I wanted this game for a very long time, and I'm going to play through it again. I don't care if it's an old game. I'd rather play an old game that's really good than a new game that's dog shit. But that's just me. Are you the same? Let me know in the comments down below. Alrighty, so that is going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to give me your feedback in the comments section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like and share the video. I played around with my microphone settings. Let me know if this sounds any better to you guys. I don't know. I'm constantly tinkering with stuff, but I think it sounds a little bit better. It sounded better when I was like messing around with it last night, but let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.